Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want to talk a little bit about ideas. We've got loads of ideas, all of us. Every single day you have another idea, right? You pass something and it sparks a little bit of inspiration in you, right? Right here, right now, we're at South Bank in London, and there's all this sort of brutalist architecture all around, right? And it's given me this sort of oppressive feeling. And in my head, you can get something kind of interesting out of that. The idea we're, it's stuck under this sort of system that kind of oppresses us. It's generic, right? So it's not the best idea. You should be taking these ideas for granted because every single day you are going to come across new ideas. No matter what happens in your life, it will inspire a little something, right? I'm constantly getting new ideas knocking about. I've got loads of stuff in my phone, right? What I do is whenever I get a decent idea, I kind of just chuck it down here, right? And I've got all of these things that I think might work for videos, but they might not. For instance, I've got one in here called What Happens to British Comedy, right? And I got that idea when I was watching, I can't remember what it was called. It was some show about some woman who lives in a mansion and she's surrounded by ghosts. And it's meant to be a sitcom. And I was watching it and I just didn't think it was very funny. And it seemed like all sitcoms now want to be dramas. They're all filmed with like proper cinema cameras, all cinematic sort of footage. It doesn't feel like laughs are the key sort of thing here. It almost just feels like they're dramas that you occasionally smile at. My favourite era of comedy in Britain is the sort of 90s and the 2000s. I love all of that stuff, like I'm Alan Partridge, The Day Today, The Office, Peep Show, all of that kind of stuff. And it made me think, what is going on with British comedy? And it's a good idea for a video, I think. And I'm going to do it at some point. I'm not entirely sure when, but it's sat there in the old bank, right? I've got another one in here called What the Hell Am I Supposed to Do with All This Random Footage? Which is, I got that idea when I was looking through all of my folders, right? And I just kept finding more and more videos. I've got something like 10 terabytes worth of random footage of just crap, right? And I'm thinking, I don't know what to do with it. I don't want to delete it because I've gone out of my way to shoot it. I've gone through like a load of stuff to actually get that stuff shot. So I don't want to waste it, but I don't know what to actually do with it, right? I've got this really nice stuff of this woman who's using a smoke grenade and she's running all around with it. It looks really, really good. I've got all of this stuff and I don't know what to do with it. But eventually it's going to come in useful, right? So I thought I'd do a video about that. There's another one in here. The next generation can't do this. And it's a really clickbaity title, I know. But basically it's me looking through all my old tickets for concerts and cinemas and stuff like that. Just sort of going, I went to see Avengers Age of Ultron when that came out and I thought that was kind of a shit movie. And I've got loads, this list goes on for quite a while, right? And I was thinking when I was looking at this, I get inspiration from basically anything and everything, right? But I can't turn every single nugget of inspiration into a finalized product because there isn't enough hours in the day. We just can't do it physically. It's never going to happen, right? And the reason it's never going to happen is because if I wanted to do that, I wouldn't be able to do it on my own, right? I would have to spread myself out so wide and hire an entire team. Like, right, you do the video about the concert tickets. You do the video about British comedy. You there, do this. And then eventually, I'm just a producer. I'm not actually a creative anymore. I'm just sort of sitting there going, you do that, you do that, you do that, you do that, and I'll do the paperwork, right? Then I guess I could hire another person to do the paperwork. But also, we're just saying hire people as if I have the fucking money to do that, and I don't. So you can't get every single idea that you want to do done, right? I've had about 10 different ideas for videos right now on the way here to South Bank, and I'm never going to get them all done. Right? I might be able to get 2 or 3, but I'm never going to get them all, right? You're never going to get every single idea, but that's okay because other ideas will come along, right? As long as you keep your brain active and you keep putting yourself in new situations, your well of life, your archive of existence is going to continue to expand, and as it expands, you'll have more things to dip into, right? I found a load of footage from my childhood, right? When I'm about 10, 11 years old. I could do all sorts of stuff with that, right? All sorts of little nuggets of inspiration come from all sorts of different things. And it's just a case of translating it into something that's usable. And if you can do that and translate it into something that's usable, that makes you a pretty good artist. If you can turn nothing into something, right, that makes you pretty talented in my opinion. The thing is, right, with having all these ideas is sometimes I look back at old notes from years and years and years ago and I see these old ideas and I'm like, what was I thinking? But if I had actually gone and made it, it probably would have been fairly decent. It wouldn't have held up to the stuff I do now, but it would have existed. It would have been something decent. And it could have happened, but it didn't, because again, there aren't enough hours in the day. And it's a shame. I'd love to get every single idea out there, but maybe it's better not to do that. Maybe it's better that we almost have this, almost like eugenics of ideas in a way, where only the most like genetically fucking viable ones make it to the surface, right? And you're sat there like, right, that one's the best one, that's the best one, and you end up honing in on them. Because so many times I'll start a video and it just won't turn out to work. This is about the third different take in this little setup where I've tried to make something work and it just hasn't. And the thing is, I want to make more videos. I want to do more ideas and tackle even the same subject from a different angle, or tackle subjects that I've never tackled before. And it's just a case of, how many angles are there? There's a lot. How many subjects are there? There's a lot. You know, there's 52 cards in a deck, and apparently there's more combinations of those 52 cards in a deck than there are atoms in the universe, or something like that, right? So there are so many ideas out there, right? So I would say, don't ever worry about running out of ideas, because you'll never run out of ideas. You'll always find new ideas. And admittedly, it always sucks when, you know, you wake up and you've forgotten that killer idea that you had the night before that you didn't quite write down. That's happened to me a million times. But at the end of the day, I always think that, you know, this is the end and I'm never going to have another good idea. But I'm always wrong. And I'll always continue to be wrong. And you're wrong when you think that. When you say that to yourself, that you can't do it, you're wrong. Because you can. You can get so much more done than you could possibly imagine, right? You are so much more powerful than you could possibly imagine. And you are so much more creative than you could possibly imagine. You have ideas running through your head that you don't even realize until you actualize them in some way. Not necessarily film it, complete it, or paint it, or whatever, and get it to a finished state, but even just writing it down, just as a note, you will see that you have so much more potential within you than you might possibly realize. We are all fantastic beings out there, right? What makes us so unique as a species is just how in-depth our brains are, right? I was thinking this about a week ago. I realized that I have my conscious mind, my subconscious mind, right? And then between that, it's not like it's just a singular binary, right? Where there's just the subconscious and the conscious. There's kind of a haze, almost like a spectrum between it, where your conscious thoughts sit upon ones that are slightly less conscious, right? Like right now, I'm breathing, right? And I'm not sat there thinking, breathe in, breathe out again, right? I'm not thinking, well, I am now. But the point is that you think about a lot of things, and as you're thinking about those things, there are so many things going on beneath the surface. And that's what makes us so unique as a species. And if you can hone in on what is worth bringing to the surface, what's worth bringing to your conscious mind, you will be more powerful than you could possibly imagine. You'll be able to get so much more done than you can possibly imagine and create better works of art, right? You'll be able to do things that you could never dream of doing before, right? I come up with loads of ideas, right? But you know what? I'm just one person amongst billions, right? I talk to so many different artists and they have ideas that I'd never have thought of, right? And not to sound egotistical, but I'll have ideas that they've never thought of. We are all unique in that regard, and we are all able to make things that are unique to us. We are all capable of putting our personalities into something that's worthwhile, right? And that's what I would encourage you to do, is just try and get as many good ideas out there as possible. Because look, if you forget this idea now, it will never come back. However, that doesn't mean that another one won't come along. You know when they say like, my girlfriend left me, and then they go, right, well, there's plenty more fish in the sea. It's the same for ideas, but I'll tell you what, there's plenty more ideas out there than there are fish in the sea, right? Or women in the sea, right? There's so many ideas out there, and it's up to you to get the ones that mean the most to you. If you lose track of one, right, that's fine, because another one will come along, right? Take your ideas for granted. Take your good ideas for granted, because you will have more of them. So if you forget something, don't worry about it. It will be okay. You'll come up with something else, something better than ever before. Because as you mature, as you go through life, you'll have ideas that you wouldn't have had in your youth. And as that goes on, you will become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Look, this idea wasn't a particularly good idea to begin with, right? The idea of this whole video, it's a bit all over the place. But you know what? Another good idea will come around. One that's better than this one, right? And then maybe I'll do a video that's actually really good. And then years down the line, it will probably look like shit in comparison to something else that I made in the future. And it's just the case for everything and everyone, right? You are so capable, more capable than you could possibly imagine. You're a decent fucking person, and you're gonna do it. I trust you, right? So that's it from me. Thank you all very much for watching this. Please leave your thoughts on what's the last good idea that you had, right? And how long ago did you have it, right? And also on that note, what was the last bad idea that you had? And how long ago was that? Put your good idea and your bad idea in one comment, right? And then someone reply to that and say, actually, the bad idea was better than the good idea. Because I bet you what's good to you is bad to someone else, and what's bad to you is good to someone else. I've had loads of ideas that I thought were absolutely fucking killer. And then everyone sort of turned to me and they were like, are you fucking insane? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. But the point is, brain's constantly going, and every time that the brain activates a neuron, that's another idea. Well, probably a few neurons have to activate for one idea. But once they all come up with an idea, then another idea will come along, and another one, right? And as long as you can just keep capturing things, capturing moments and ideas in pieces of art, or however it is you want to express yourself, you'll be doing decent. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye. And you just kind of think, oh, these are all right. I'm sorry, this is shit.